Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend vid. If you're not interested in listening to me talk about the process and stuff, skip towards the end and I'll have the list on the screen. That being said, we always start with the indexes, so let's see what they're looking like. SPY. It'd be closer to 2 down, but really it's going to open inside. So when you have this big puke, right, eventually we're going to get an inside bar minimum. So that's something we can't expect going into next week. Qs going to look pretty similar. It's going to be much closer to opening inside bar. What this tells us is, first of all, you can see these triangles. If you go back to the previous weekend vid, they played out. Boom, 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 right? They're just whacking them around. Now it looks like this. What that tells us is we're likely to go 1, right? Dow Jones, it's a 3. Still not taking these guys out or these guys out, so we're in the middle. And this is a broadening formation in and of itself. So on the daily, we're going to see this. We'll hit the dailies on the other ones just so we are clear. And let me remove these. I'm going to remove the 2s just to keep it simple here. But you're going to see the broadening formation closer to a 2-2 on Monday. If we go back to SPY, closer to a 2-2 on Monday with a change in weekly continuity from its monthly magnitude. Qs, closer to a 2-2 on Monday. So we potentially have the new week open and things firm up. That's something we'd want to know. And then IBM, closer to the 2-2 on Monday, although this one's really the one that's having problems. Small cappers, small business, not doing quite as good as the rest here. Here's your triangle. So that is what we're seeing. Now, since we have potential 2-2s on Monday, right, we prefer upside setups. Now, will we want to buy stuff that looks like SPY? No, right? We want to go for stuff already going up. That's where the buyers actually are, the institutional groups. Or we want to go for things closer to a 2-2 week. Because if SPY opens, goes green, starts coming back through here, we want stuff taking out the weekly highs. So what do we scan for? We scan for a 2 down in green, scan for inside weeks. Those will be relatively strong. We can scan for things that were already going up. So let me show you an example. If we go to DE, this had a 2-2 on Wednesday that we picked up on for the intraday guys. And just so you can see, so we picked it up on the 2-2 day scan with CAT, and it was a gap down buy, and we'll see it followed through on that with the 2-2 confirming on the 5th. So on the 5th here, confirmed the gap down buy, and then boom, boom, they kept confirming. Nice moves in there. You'll see CAT, it's going to look similar, right? 3, 2, 2, fun to say, fun to do, bang, right? There's your 5%. So what's this on CAT? Outside week hammer. So you can see these are much closer to recovering. So if you shorted CAT or DE last week, you're in trouble. We take this stuff out and stay up. So this is like an example of what we look for. Now, we also want to look for simultaneous breaks or, sector evidence. This is part of your more agricultural / industrial. Now, that being said, let's take a look at the scans and see who's a 2 down in green week. So it's really simple, and this will be built into the scan site automatically in the near future. But we're going to see this. So here's the scan, and we scan just 2 down and green. Simple enough. So you can see we have 28 names in the S&P 500. We can blow this up and have a lot more names, but this keeps it simple. So what we can then do is we can go here and we can first, type out what are we thinking. Right, I'll keep the gap stuff the same, but we will look here and you can see observations. We have some observations here, but closer to a 2 down, 2 up Monday daily on indexes. The goal, go after 2 up weeks with full time frame continuity, ideally. And then sectors. We can point those out. So let's go and look at the sectors and see what we've got. And this makes it really simple. So here's our weekly market view. So you can see SPY, Qs, Dow, IBM, nowhere near. Right? Financials, defense, nowhere near. Right? So what this tells me is it's probably not going to be an all-out rally. It's going to be hard to get that unless those dailies really start going. You can see gold and that type of stuff. They're pretty firm. We'll have inside week gold, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And then the US dollar, Dixie, can have some problems. Now, who's closer to coming back up? Well, biotech's closer to coming back up. Apple would be a 3-2-2 week. Right? Anyone else? More biotech? IYZ, which is your communications, includes AT&T and Verizon, I believe. And then look at healthcare's. While the market puked, healthcare stayed strong. So what do we see? Right, biotech's closer to 2-2. Healthcare is already going up. And then gold / materials, XLB, going to be closer to coming back the other way. So those are some of the stuff we'd like to look for, as well as the communications. So when we hit the scans, we want to look for inside weeks within these sectors, 2-2 reversals within these sectors, and that's where we want to be. So we can put in the sectors in here, IYZ, XLV, already up, and then XBI, and then gold, silver, XLB, question mark. Right, we'll see. So now let's go to the setups, right? 2 down, 2 up, setups, inside. We're going to just go 2 down, 2 up, inside bar, continuation, scenario 3. And we'll actually switch these around. And I don't think we had XHB on there, but we'll take a look. Yeah, home builders. Okay, we can't forget home builders. So get that on there too. So you can see it's like, Alex, there's a lot of things that we have to look at. Well, what makes this simpler is you hit the scans and you also look at the charts. Like, look at home builders. Do we still have a housing crisis in the United States? We do. These guys are probably coming back the other way. So this is a really good setup, right? Now, that being said, let's go and take a look at the scans. So not only can we do 2 down in green, but we can also do hammers. Hammer. Just so we can capture, some more setups in here. So you can see now we have 53. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to filter those based on their market caps. And at the top, we got Google. So you can see Google on the week. Now, if we go to technology, XLK, we don't have as much evidence there. Right? It's probably not going to be a 2 next week, at least not right at the beginning. Google would be closer to a 2 up. IBM, that'd be closer to a 2 up. Notice it has full time frame continuity on the month as well. We look at the triangles in here. That's a big outside day. You can see from the gap, here's your gap triangle. Might be something to know about, right? And they're trying to go back the other way. So we can look for IBM, and we'll put that on there as a 2 down, 2 up. We'll say it's XLK, and then Goog, question mark. Now, in the healthcares, we'll see TMO. See the hammer week in here. So 322 week TMO. If that works, it'll rev strat the month. 1, 2 down, and green. So potentially 3 on the month. We can say, obviously, we're kind of stuck in the middle of this range, so be careful of that. But TMO be closer to a 322. And we'll have a list of healthcares in here. So we'll take a look. QCOM in the technologies. So you can see in the semiconductor sectors, QCOM would be closer to coming back up, where the semis, not so much, right? If we go to CAT, we already talked about CAT, but we'll make sure to get that on the list. With DE, and there's also Tractor Supply Co., which we haven't looked at yet. But Uber's on that list. Nowhere near any signals here, so I'm not as interested, but you could watch it. Pfizer, PFE. This weekly signal here could trigger the monthly signal. Still inside quarters, so I'm not the most interested, although you could try and play it. UNP, Union Pacific. The weekly 132 could trigger the monthly inside month and up. And you can see on the triangle side of things, new lows. So we're trying to go after the new highs up in here. Would be the idea. LRCX, more chips, right? With QCOM. SHW financials, more healthcares here. REGN in the healthcares is not the best setup there. It's kind of a doji's at the lows here. Could that change? Maybe. PayPal. Nice little hammer week at the bottom of the triangle with SHW in the financials. So a little bit of financials in there. Let's go to car industrials. It's not a bad looking one either. You can see the slightly lower lows to these guys in here, and then broadening formation up there. So that's closer to a 322 car, which is XLI. So I might do something like this just to make it easier to follow. We go to PCAR. Similar, so you can see the outside week, right? Really strong compared to the rest of the market. Still inside year, but here's your triangle, right? New highs, new lows. We'd be looking for them to come back up here. So we can see we do have a lot of decent setups in here for next week. Let's keep going. And XPI in the chips. Similar to some others. Let's see, in a month, stuck inside month. Not as interesting. Slab materials, I believe. Double check. Energy. Okay, not bad. But SLB and the energies, a little closer to trying to firm back up. You got pivot machine gun above. If we zoom out on the week, we actually have this that we're working with here. Like such. So it's interesting. We'll see ODFL more in the transportation / industrials 3122. Yeah. So I have ODFL. I'll just remove this, make it simple. That also can tell you, I believe, there's one other transportation in here. JBHT, JB Hunt. Also, potentially the 22 transportation / industrials. We're going to keep going down the list. We'll see Tractor Supply Co., which we already, I think, included here. Yep, with the CAT and DE. So you can see the weekly Tractor Supply Co. would trigger the inside month and up. Could trigger an outside quarter. That's a pretty good one to know about, right? Kind of looks like IBM. Crazy day on Friday. And now we're starting to get into the bottom of the list where there's less interesting action going on. If you're interested in bottom picking, you can go after FSLR on this triangle on the week, but there's not too much else I want to take a look at here. So what we can say here is we do have some healthcares, which didn't include all of them here. We'll take a look. A lot of smaller caps in there. IQV in the healthcares. So you can see potentially the 2-2. That would occur with full time from continuity into a scenario 3 on the month. So we're going to make sure to include that. XLV, or TMO, IQV. TECH. See the big old weekly broadening information there. Same thing would occur with full time from continuity. We'll have DVA, similar with the outside bar hammer week, which would occur with full time from continuity after taking out last month's lows. Never heard of it. RMD. That's a nice weekly PMG you got in there. So you can see we got a lot of healthcares, a lot of industrials in there on that list. And then RMD, we have a nice PMG. So I'll put a star next to it. I do like tech as well, but RMD looks pretty good. So we can see this, like these are kind of the 2-2s that we're seeing. Now, if we go to inside weeks, these are going to be things that have relative strength to the indexes. And ideally, we use these inside bars to trigger a higher time frame signal. So if we take a look there, a little Palantir. Inside week. So if the market firms up, this made higher lows last week. That's got to be stronger than the market as far as we are concerned. So you'd have the 2-2 day pivot machine gun to trigger the week. But we're going to be an inside month. Now we do have a shooter in here, but this shooter is not inherently bearish. It just means it went up and then there's some profit taking, selling, or shorting going on. So maybe that buyer comes back, the one that brought it all the way up in here. We'll see, right? Inside week, we know Palantir can move. So inside bar, Palantir. We'll see lows in there. So with the home builders, we didn't see a lot of XHB on the list when we were scanning, which is fine. We'll take a look because we know XHB does have that setup. So we'll take a look here. But lows inside week. You see the hammer day, which could trigger the week. The month is still an inside bar, which does make it stronger than the SPY because it's not taking last month's lows. So lows in there will be an inside week. XHB. That tells us take a look at Home Depot. Not so much, but same hammer day, and you can see bottom of the triangle. Right down in here, down they go. And looks like this. So maybe, right, it would not be full time from continuity for us there. Now, if we go to other home builders, besides like the suppliers of those guys, TOL, not so much. PHM was going up last week. DHI, see, was going up last week. KBH. Nice outside week down in there. So we could say we got some home builders firming up. We just still got a lot of signals in the XHB to go after. When I see that, what it does tell me is I can go and scan in the home builders holdings to try and figure out what's going on there. But I would say, you know, they firmed up for the most part there, and we can take a look at XHB, right? See who starts going next week, who's taken last week's highs within here. And that would give us some information on what's going on there. But, it's not Home Depot. That's what we know for now. Outside of that, inside week's monster. You can see if it broke an inside week, it would trigger a 3-2 month. Still an inside year would trigger an outside quarter. So maybe you can get it. There's no daily signal. NEM, materials, inside week, but shooter day. So closer to inside week down from the shooter day. While the market rallied, Keurig Dr. Pepper, or while the staples rallied per se, more to say, Keurig Dr. Pepper went inside week closer to shooter day to trigger it down. So anyone in this XLP staples is coming back, it'd probably be Keurig Dr. Pepper. eBay, this has been a pretty good gapper name. That's something we'll definitely have on the list, the 3-1. So see the 3-1 week there. And this is why we like gappers, because you can trade the daily signals after the gap. Hit 2 down, 1, 2 up, boom, you're in. Inside bar, add, get more. Up they go. Here's your daily triangle in here. See, it looks something like this. The new lows, the new highs. So we'll keep an eye on that, right? Obviously, they like eBay. If it works, we'll see to the year. Is it at all-time highs yet? Nope. That's something we like to see, about give or take 16% to get up there. Outside of that, a lot of nobodies. CVS is one I want to keep on the continuation list. Now, as far as continuation goes, it's normally just stuff we're tracking or interested in. So CVS is a continuation name, and then we have like Coke, Pepsi, Verizon. Specifically Verizon, T, Mondelez. Those have been the ones we've really been on, but that tells you Coke, Pep, etc. in the staples. That's gonna be like CLPG, those type of guys. So Colgate, really gunning, right? Not a bad one. PG, not the worst. It's already hit its targets for the most part. But those are the type of things we prefer to see continue. Really, it's like VZ and T I like. And Mondelez, of course. Then it's other, things that we may have picked up on. So it's like gold and silver last week. We picked up on some reversals here in silver. You see 2-2 week. Does that keep going? If it does, we go 2 on the month. If that works, we're going to set up the inside quarter for next quarter. If that works, it's been 60% higher on the year. And we have the dollar cratering off of our monthly signal that we mentioned last month. So this type of stuff is where we're going to have some more issues, right? Dollar coming back in, that tells you materials, heavy metals, precious metals. It can also tell you commodities, right? Which can include like hog futures and things like that. HE. So you see hog futures. That's the 2-2 week for next week. If you're a futures guy, yeah, and go buy some hogs. Right? You got inside quarter up still. It is still an inside year. If we go to like palladium. Not so much. We go to lead. Lead? Oh yeah, look at this monthly. If this 322 doesn't reverse on the month, you're coming all the way back to these guys up in here, $2,300. So lead future traders, yeah, gonna want to know about that. If we go to like nickel futures, you see on the month. Obviously, you got to squint a little to see this one, so it's probably not the best one to be trading in here, but 312 month and up, and it was going up last week. So you can see the heavy metals, that type of stuff we'll want to know about. And if you're trading stock or currencies, this is one I talked about with a one-on-one trader that joined. If you want to go and do any one-on-ones, go to topmate.io/Alex'sOptions. Just a shameless promotion here, but you can ask me anything for free, and you can also go and take any one-on-one you'd like. But we talked about this when we talked about currency futures. You're going to see this type of stuff. It's like this is priced in US dollars, USD over SEC. So in the US craters, that's a good thing, right? Down they go. But they got wrecked. Euro US dollar with the Dixie getting killed. You'll see the inside month at the bottom of the monthly triangle. It's also a pretty cool one like that. So why it's important to watch the Dixie, because it tells you other things besides just the dollars going down. It tells you other things maybe going up. But as far as the weekend analysis goes, this is what we've got. You know, the 2-2s, the inside bars. We can take a look at shooters. Personally, I just haven't been touching them really. I've been looking more for the upside recently, but that's the last thing we can take a look at here. Shooters on the week: Keurig Dr. Pepper and K, I believe Kellogg's. Is it K? Kellanova, yeah. And it looks like K was a buyout, so it's really just Keurig Dr. Pepper, but they're both in the staples. So if you want to play Keurig Dr. Pepper Domino, there it is. Hammers, or not hammers, 2 up and red. We have 41 names. We do see, oh, and I can't forget that. So continuation names, and this is why I normally don't do this on live, but I have a lot of stuff we're watching. All right, so continuation, I'm gonna put a star on this one: Lockheed Martin, GD, GE question mark, and then NOC, and then RTX question mark, Boeing question mark. So we've seen a lot of defensive stuff. So Lockheed Martin, we picked up on this inside week signal with NOC, with the 2-2 week signal, with the GD inside week signal, and then RTX had the inside week but did come back a bit. So it's closer to firming back up, but that tells us the defense sector, DFEN, which also has this nice hammer day down at the bottom of this daily try. So this is something we want to know about. If we get a Boeing, maybe Boeing tries to kick back in. It's not a terrible spot to try and do that. So we'll make sure we put Boeing star to see if that one starts kicking in. But that's what we're seeing. Home builders, it's just gonna be question marks in here for us. You could do KBH. That's one of the stronger ones. But this is what we're thinking. On the downside of things, there's really not that much. There's some, I would say a lot of financials are in there still. So you got Aflac. You can see 2 up in red, but not really. It's probably not going to kick in. If we go to AIG, 2 up in red, but you can see it's probably not going to kick in. Go to XLF. Got some hammers down at the bottom of this big thing. So probably not going to see that. So I'm just going to prefer the upside. If things, come in, they start selling, we're going to scan who's taking last week's lows, and we'll go from there. But as far as those skipping to the end of the video, here is your list. This is your analysis in here, and you can take a screenshot, do what you want with that. But that's all I'm going to have for the weekend vid. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me kind of walking through this, even though I forgot a few things until the end there. But that is what I've got. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys bright and early Tuesday morning if you're in stats, and if you are not, then I'll see you guys in Monday night's nightly vid.